Over half my life, I've been very sick, very unhealthy, very unhappy. When I was 16, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. I've been through so many surgeries. I've been to probably over 30 doctors, so many of them not even agreeing with each other's diagnoses. It's very frustrating. I would try their recommendations, take their medicines. Nothing worked. I've had surgery as far as even having my bones fused in my wrist. That's how severe it got. Bones being eroded, just very, very bad. And through all this, come to find out, I actually have Lyme disease. It was misdiagnosed. I got bit by something before. I was 12, I got bit. 16, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and they never put two and two together that this was actually Lyme disease. So this whole time I've been getting treated the wrong way, and come to find out last year, now I'm getting treated the right way. The treatment is very involved. It's very complicated. I began on several different antibiotics, along with a couple other medicines that are designed to work with the antibiotics to really kill the Lyme. But as you're being treated, you start getting sicker, and for 2 months I started treating, but I wasn't near my wellness physician. And finally, when I was able to give him a call, come in and get in to see him, I really started feeling better. For those 2 months though, before I saw him, I couldn't get out of bed. I really was, if you want to say close to death, that was me. And people that know me would say it was pretty close. Feeling like you have the flu for 2 months straight without any kind of a break. It gets very, very complicated, very difficult. And the reason I got so sick was because I had it for so long. Someone who may have, just gotten bit by a tick, 2 days ago, to go into their doctor now would be probably a piece of cake. But when you've been misdiagnosed for so long, it can get really complicated and very complex. So finally, after 2 months, I went and gave my chiropractor a call, went in, and within just a few days of doing one recommendation, one supplement that he gave me, I was able to start walking and start being able to interact with my kids again. Before I went and saw him, I had been, basically laying in a bed at my parents' house, and my 3-year-old and 6-year-old were just playing with grandma because I was in bed all the day, and it was horrible, very depressing. So imagine my surprise when I come and see him, and one supplement fixes it. And I told him, I'm like, you'd think I'd know better. I've only seen you for quite a few years. So the difference though was night and day. I feel really great. What I do right now is I follow the supplements that my chiropractor tells me to. I always follow the diet changes that he told me to. I do not stray from those whatsoever. If I stray from the things that he told me that I tested bad for, then I'd be in trouble. Through all this, what's amazing is I've turned a couple skeptics into believers. And the way I did that was showing them proof, proof that conventional medicine would tend to show. I had a couple family members not believe that diet alone and food changes could really make such a big difference. But when I went to a rheumatologist one day a few years ago, she ordered blood work and she ordered x-rays. She wanted to make sure that my treatment, my alternative treatment as she called it, of just doing diet change and supplements wasn't making the problem worse. She wanted to make sure that my bones were intact, there was no more erosion going on. So when I got the x-rays back, she started comparing the ones from a few years ago to the ones that day. And she said, what's interesting is, now these were of my hands and my feet, specifically the knuckles and the little bones in your feet. And what she said was, look at the holes back from a few years ago. She said, you can notice that they're actually being filled in. And I asked her to explain that. I said, what do you mean? And she goes, your bones are getting better. She goes, what that means is your bones have actually grown back. And this was over a course of about 3 years. And she goes, you really need to put this in a medical journal. She goes, I've never seen this before. And she again wanted to make sure. She goes, what are you doing again? So I reminded her, I said, this is just, diet change and supplements. And I told her about my physician, my wellness physician. And she said, well, whatever it is you're doing, you better keep doing it because it's really keeping your bones healthy. It has made such a difference in my life. You know, it's taken me from not being able to walk to walking, not being able to get out of bed, to now being able to function as what I call a normal human being, which I never knew before. I've seen it make a difference in the lives of my family members, many friends I've referred. I really believe it works. It's just made such a difference and such a big impact on my life. Ask my kids, they finally have their mom back, as my husband says. Mom's back finally. You know, I am so grateful for Dr. Berglund. When you come here, sometimes I call it my second home, because you just feel like he's family. He goes out of his way for you. He has done so much for me. I just couldn't be more grateful. My kids actually enjoy coming here. He's helped so many of my friends, so many of my family members, and I just can't say anything more about him than the fact that I'm a walking, testimony to what medicine can do, what he can do. He's just made a big difference in my life. The biggest difference with Dr. Berglund compared to other doctors is that he specifically will test you as an individual to see what you need. Other people, I've talked to, they'll go to the store and say, I'll just pick up this vitamin or that vitamin, but they're just guessing. And I'll tell them, you have to go see Dr. Berglund, because he can tell based on certain tests what you're lacking and what you need to take, and it just will make such a big difference.